What's going on, everybody? I am Aeneas Hawkins. I am joined by my friend, Penn State legendary officer, we're here for our third year of the Blue White Players Show. Time is flying on us, Goon. I haven't seen you in way too long.
I know.
I want you to update not only the people, but also update me on what you have been doing in the meantime.
Well, I just hit 32 years old now. You know, I'm very proud of myself at that milestone age. You know what I mean? So, no, just hanging back and doing all the radio shows up here. We're on 98.7 Fox. Well, I'm here live right now anyway. Me and Ironhead do our shows twice a week. Got a couple things going with some viewing parties we'll talk about later in the year with USC and Wisconsin. Got those in the works and some Letterman stuff. I mean, I got 25 days until my 30-year reunion with my 94 Rose Bowl team.
Yeah. Wow, that's coming up right around the corner.
You should know the amount of guys texting. Hey, we're in a hotel room? Like, you're about 9 months too late. No, sorry, I don't know what to do. But yeah, doing all that stuff, you know. Got a new dog.
Yeah, new dog.
We'll see the new one this year.
I'm looking forward to it. For those who don't know back home, there is not a man on the planet who throws a better tailgate than Keith Goon. I have thoroughly enjoyed being a retired player now and having the privilege and the honor of joining you more than a few times at this point. It'll be a good time. Another thing I want to say, we don't have him here today. There will be another contributing member to the show, my guy, Landon Tangwall, who most of you do know, former Penn State offensive lineman. I used to dominate him daily in the inside run, and now he's followed my footsteps and become a broadcaster. So I'm excited to have my guy here. I give him a hard time because he still gives me a hard time about my mohawk. I tell him, I'm going to let it rock out for now until I have to admit. And finally, that mohawk's not going anywhere for quite a while. It's a staple at this point, Goon. I gotta let it go because eventually I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. I'm going to have to cut it all off. So we'll deal with that when the time comes. I've got some balding in my family. My dad's dealing with it pretty bad right now. He won't admit it, Dad. If you're watching this, I'm sorry to have to say that publicly, but it's coming. It's just a matter of time. Yeah, so I'm trying to soak it all up while I can, but that's not important. We're not here to talk about this. I'm just staying busy. I'm trying to be like Goon every day. I'm doing the Lions Den again this year, second year of that. New co-host this year, Devon Elise, which has been a ton of fun. We've got another episode coming today. Just staying busy, man. Talking Penn State football, still doing limitless NIL along with the Clifford brothers and trying to make an impact there. But honestly, I've just been sitting around waiting for Penn State football to get back going. We finally got a taste of that on Saturday. Massive W against West Virginia on the road in a hostile environment, a team that, again, we wanted to see what they were really about and if they could go into a hostile environment and play at a high level. But before we get into that, Goon, I want to hear your opinion on how the Penn State offense specifically looked on Saturday's game.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I was ecstatic. I mean, Kodo coming in here, it was my biggest thing was always like we were always trying to like force round hole in a square pegs. And I think that Kodo is the kind of guy who can come in and look and see what he has, and he designs the offense around it. You know, you have a real good offensive line who were rather large bunch of fellas, and we have a pretty damn good running game,
no doubt.
So the biggest fan of the run game is play action pass.
Yep.
So you have the threat of running the ball down people's throats, and it just opens up the play action pass so much. And you could watch that guy, our guy running for miles around the lone last week on Saturday watching that game. I don't want to say it, but think of Cowboys a couple of years ago with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and with the play action pass with Zeke in the backfield. The threat of Zeke being back there just brings the safeties in because they gotta man up. They have to get up there to make that play, and then all of a sudden you got a guy running down the field alone. So Kodo did a great job with the offense. I thought the offensive line played absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to get Dawk on here because I never actually ever had to do what those guys have done. You have with that big delay in between games and stuff like that.
Yeah, Michigan State.
And I want to see because there's definitely. I think that James is a very good learner. And then, he went through something one time, and that was at Michigan State, and it was hot. It was a small locker room. They had no food. They had no water. They had nothing like that. It was like, hey, we got to take care of this. And then having the weather predictions going into that game this past week, I was told that they were loading water. They were loading on little snacks and stuff like that because I was talking about it on a radio show. It's not like West Virginia's going to come in the locker room like, hey, we're going to go to Pizza Hut right now.
Yeah,
what do you guys want?
You guys
want Chick-fil-A or anything? Right. What do you need? Or they come back and they have a 500 Taco Bell soft taco shells for you.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah. I mean, you bring up a good point, though. I don't think Franklin's the type of guy to be fooled twice by a situation. So, although it was 7 years ago.
Tell me, how did they handle it?
It was right before I went. But I remember hearing stories about it, people being in the locker room without the appropriate water.
That locker room's smaller than this room right here. I mean, 75 guys.
We'll have Nick Dawkins on, who obviously experienced the locker room at West Virginia. We'll talk about what that experience was. But from everything I've got, that is not a very big locker room. It's not like you're at home and you have the luxury of having a beautiful locker room that you had at Beaver Stadium. It's a completely different experience on the road.
When I see pictures, Mark Brennan's, Gracie Brennan's doing sometimes put pictures up. These guys were like lounging out there at the tailgate party.
Yeah, they're just hanging out. You can tell they were
t-shirts on, their feet are up, and their lounge chairs, stuff like
off, shoulder pads off. I mean, it was a long break though. And again, to sit down and be stagnant for 2.5 hours plus, and then have to get back and play a game. One thing that I will say I appreciate about that offense is it didn't take any time to get going. Nick Singleton was ready. That offensive line was ready. And when you look at the offense as a whole, there were so many questions with Koto Nicky coming in as a new coordinator. Questions about how Drew Aller would be in his development going into this year with the new offensive coordinator. One thing that really helped him again was that offensive line play. And O-line, they lost Olu Fashion, lose Hunter Norzan, lose Caden Wallace. And all three of those spots were filled at a high level. And the last thing I'll say is we know about the Nick Singletons and we know about the Trey Wallaces on that football team, but the overall culture of that offense, there was a different feel with the way they played the game. From the jump, you could see the talking that was happening, the offense was doing, the conferences they played with. You could tell that is a unit that truly believes that they're underrated and underappreciated right now, and they're hungry to go prove that they can be impactful and help this team get to that next level that they've talked about for so long.
Having played on the best offense in Penn State history in the 94 team, we had that swag. And that was just a cocky, just, you're not going to do anything to us. There's nothing you can do to stop us.
Yeah.
And I noticed that on Saturday.
Yeah, it was apparent. I mean,
I don't know if that's Koto Nicky coming in here or just guys that.
Well, that's my thing.
Nick here, he's a fifth-year guy, so he's been around the block a few times.
Nick is getting old, man. He's the guy who is a culture driver.
You'll notice he's going.
We'll get Nick on here in a moment so he can defend himself. But you bring up a good point. You got the Nick Dawkins on the team. You got the Tyler Warren on the team. Guys who have been there for long enough and truly are culture drivers in their respective rooms into the offense as a whole. And it was fun to watch. And I do want to kind of shift gears here before we bring Nick on, because I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about the offense and what they did, but the defensive side of the ball. We got to talk about guys like Tony Rojas, who was playing at a high level. The linebacker depth was a lot of fun for me to watch. Kobe King's flashing. A guy like Tyler Elston coming in there, big third down stop out of Tyler Elston. The culture of that unit as a whole is high level. And again, they replaced probably the best defensive coordinator in college football, Manny Diaz, and bring in Tom Allen. What did you out of the defense that was inspiring to you?
Tom Allen looks like a mad scientist.
He does.
I mean, with those glasses and stuff like that, you're just like, what is this dude doing, man? It looks like he's concocting something. He got like chemistry set in his office type of thing. Dude, we knew it. He's been around the block a few times, and can you imagine? Put yourself in his shoes. I'm not knocking Indiana. I'm not trying to do that or whatever. But he's going to walk out to practice, and he's got an Indiana defensive side of the defensive team right there. And then he's to walk out a year later, and he's coaching Penn State's defense.
Yeah.
And he's got about 11 5-star. I don't think a 5-star's ever gone to Indiana. He's got how many guys out there who are just absolute studs?
No doubt.
Just amazing players. I mean, you got to think that he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
You would think maybe at some point it's overwhelming, but I mean, you can look back at his defenses in Indiana. They constantly put a really good product on the field with a talent level that wasn't the same as Penn State's. I look at every level of this defense. I played defense at Penn State, and I was a part of some really good ones. 2019, #1 rush defense in the country. We had some great units, but now there's even more depth at every position than I ever experienced at Penn State. You look at Jalen Reed. You look at what KJ Winston's doing. Zaki Wheatley is coming off of the bench. Zaki Wheatley is not coming off of the bench at 95% of the schools across the country. You've got talent all over the board. You got a rotation that's able to go. I mean, a guy, Smith Vilbert, who everybody forgot about, comes in, has a strip sack. The depth in the DN room is incredible. The D tackles are playing at a high level. Devon Elise, Zane Durant, Hakeem Beeman off of the bench. The depth is impressive, and you need depth when you look at the expansion that's happening in the playoffs. Hopefully Penn State makes it like everybody's talking about them doing, but it's more games. It's more reps the guys have to play.
Elise was not blocked. He still has not been blocked this year.
Devon looked really good. I loved what I saw out of Devon.
He played great. The best game I've ever seen him play, to be honest with you. He was unblockable, and then they were following him. So I'm going to say this. I mean, you're the guy like Abdul Carter.
Yep.
Dude, we're good enough at linebacker. Why don't you go play DN, man?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Think about that. You have the ability to take an Abdul Carter and say you can go play defense man because we have enough guys to play linebacker for us right now.
That's a big part of it. And the other thing I'll say is everybody wants to compare Abdul to Micah Parsons. You talk about Coach Franklin learning from a situation and not making the same mistake twice. We see what Micah Parsons is doing as the end of the NFL. And he didn't take any reps at Penn State as a defensive end. He's not making that mistake with Abdul Carter. I know a lot of people want to talk about the offsides penalties and trying to jump off of the ball and get ahead. A part of that is first game jitters, but at the same time, you want Abdul Carter lined up on the edge and trying to jump the snap count. That is when he's going to be the most impactful and the most special. You want to clean it up, obviously, but it's a good sign that they're hungry to get after that quarterback.
They did.
They did. They certainly did. Poor Garrett Green, man.
Yeah, he wasn't happy, and they knocked the running back out of the game with his shoulder early in the first half. So that was a huge lump for West Virginia to get over. But, I mean, it's just the attitude our guys had. And it was just like, you know what? I love the business attitude. It's an older team.
Yep.
It's not a bunch of young guys out there right now. This is a well-led team. They're young. They're veteran. They have some great young players, but they're very, very well-led. And I just like thinking about our guys walking in with lunch pails and hard hats. It's like, let's go to work. Let's go.
No doubt.
And we have a lot of our fans here who were at the game this past Saturday.
Yes, we do.
It sounds like a pretty damn awesome environment.
Yeah, it sounds like it was. And you know what? After the break, we will have center captain Nick Dawkins join us to talk a little bit more about that victory versus West Virginia, as well as what to expect in the games to come. We'll be right back out of the break with my guy, Doc, to talk about it even more.
WFXS, once again.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America. 98.7 The Fox State College.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
If you love rings and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get too quick to steak and lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get too quick to steak and lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty is a proud sponsor of the Blue and White Players Show. Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty is South Central Pennsylvania's premier real estate agency, and they're inviting you to join in celebrating the official opening of their new State College office location, September 16th at the Nittany Lion Inn. That's Monday, September 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Nittany Lion Inn. Visit annlusk.com to learn more.
Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
You're tuned in to the Blue and White Players Show with Keith Goon Conlon, Aeneas Hawkins, and Landon Tengwall. Broadcasting live from the 19th hole at the Penn State Golf Courses every Monday at 6 p.m. all season long. Special thanks to this season's sponsors of the Players Show: Lusk and Associates, Sotheby's International Realty, Turner Construction, Austin and Pam Schanfelter, Chris and Lisa Heydrich, Marco Rivera, and Sherry Lane. Now back to more of the Blue and White Players Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at the Blue White Players Show. We're joined by my guy, a guy who I've known and loved for years and years. Guy. My former roommate, one of my best friends on the planet, Allentown's finest, Nick Dawkins, is in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, what an intro. What an intro. Made me feel like Superman out here.
You are Superman in my eyes. Man. I know, Keith and I were talking about we were talking about who we were going to bring on for our first episode.
Okay. Half of you is my hero. I loved your pops, man. You know that.
Okay. That can be perceived in entirely different fashion. But my guy, Nick Dawkins, is joining us. You made your first start at center for Penn State football on Saturday against West Virginia, the long-awaited. Talk to us about that experience and how much it meant to you.
Yeah, I mean, going to my 5th year, just waiting, being patient. And honestly, I'm not very patient of a person. So going out through the process, grinding, working. To be honest with you, talking with my family, talking with all my loved ones and such, they were all getting nervous before the game. They were asking me, like, how are you feeling? Are you ready? This, that, and the third. And I felt nothing, to be honest. I felt like just ready for the moment. And then the second I got down and prayed right before the game, for some reason, I feel like I got hit with a wave of something, and everything just hit at once. And I think a boost of adrenaline shot through my system. And I kind of just blacked out for a little bit, and then that adrenaline shocked through all the way to the first drive, and it was just go mode from there. It just felt natural. Like when you got your first snaps, you can say, once you get that first hit out of the way, it's just football after that.
I blacked out Saturday also, but yeah, that's the thing. I mean, any game you play, you're so well coached and practiced, and you are an older guy, you are a 5th-year guy. You have seen everything 3 times. And you get out there and play the game, and everything just happens in slow motion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it
Absolutely.
Once you get out there, and it's like you are nervous, you are this and that, but then you go out there, and you hit the first person, you're like, wow, this is pretty easy. I got this. I know what I'm doing. You're not going to see anything they're going to throw at you that you haven't practiced against or actually competed against in practice. So you got a damn good D-line you're competing against for your last 5 years here.
Absolutely.
Just put all the players' names out there, and you're sitting there. That's just guys you've practiced against for 5 years. You were ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say even too, my approach going to it is even with my film study. You chart down what guys their pass rush moves are and such, but I'm not worried about what they do. I'm more worried about my technique and how I approach the game as opposed to what they do. And I think that's just a Penn State mentality.
I do got one question came out of Saturday, and I have to ask a friend of mine, Chris Buchanani, asked this question, and that was Coach was talking about watching the iPads at half or during the delay. And that's a new rule that's allowed.
Yeah. That's
huge because you literally are going against this guy a half hour ago, and now you're watching film on the dude.
Yeah, and even like that's halftime, but even right after the series, we're allowed to sit and watch the play. So it's cool because now you can come out and see indicators and tendencies of what they're doing, maybe giving away the rushes and twists and stuff. It's pretty cool to see, but it's also if you mess up a play and then you're just watching over and over again, like here we go. Ain't no hiding from film study anymore. Like they got
you're sitting there, and your left guard's like this, like
looking away.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, I guess I do want to ask, Doc, just how important and how crucial has it been to be able to have that immediate feedback after coming off the field? How impactful is that to the viewer back home who may not know?
Yeah, it's so important. I'm telling you, like one big thing with being a player, especially at an elite level, is you have to pick up on little things that other teams do. And those tendencies are huge. Maybe a guy puts his right leg up every time he's twisting inside. If you can pick it up during a game, that basically gives away all their pass rush and third down moves. And if you can call a protection to that, then it gives you maybe a second or 2 seconds more, and we can hit big shots down the field. So being able to pick that up right on the sideline, and as a credit to our coaches and to our guys and how they attack film study and such, when you're able to do that, it just gives us such an advantage.
I was going to say, what if you had a guy on the sideline telling if he was a pass or a run? But we're not allowed to do that anymore. Somebody screwed that up for everybody. No, but I mean, the game is easy once you get out there and playing, and you get beat by a guy. You get beat. You know what his best move is, and you're going to compete against that. And it's a little overdone, but some of the NFL movies, the Invincibles, are like, look at his fingers.
Yeah, with fingertips. Yeah,
that's true. But it's also about the footwork in the lineup. If he's squeezing the line of scrimmage, he ain't going to pinch. He's not jumping down in the loop. He's coming either across your face or he's just trying to get upfield as fast as he possibly can. So the pre-snap look for an offensive lineman, you could tell 90% of what they're going to do, just how they're lined up.
Yes.
You know, and as an older guy, you've seen it. Again, you've seen it. You've done it. The game is easy at this point.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Olu was huge on that too, just picking up on those tendencies. And when you can anticipate it too, I mean, you get to jump on them, and then now you get them.
They look foolish when they
they look goofy, and now they're out of sorts because they're like, oh, they think we got superpowers now. Yeah. They're like, how did he know what I was gonna do? Like I had telepathy or something like that.
Doc, I want to ask you. So you talk about the nerves going into your first game and getting hit with kind of that wave of adrenaline right before a situation that occurred early in the game that we all were able to watch, and there was really some confusion about, even from the broadcast booth. Is kind of what happened on that first snap between you and Drew. There seemed to be some type of miscommunication or mishap. I want you firsthand experience of what you were saying. I see you turn around and immediately you start spazzing. I haven't seen you yell like that since I stole your orange juice back at the yard of the World State.
Yeah. Thank you for I want to admit that when it happened, you kept it quiet for 3 years. So let me address this situation too while we're at it. Okay. So when we during that arcadence, when we go into a loud environment, what tends to be a resounding sound is the clap. So the echo of the clap is easier to hear. So our cadence was the clap. One of the safeties clapped twice, which was our cadence. So I snapped the ball on the clap, which is illegal and is it a penalty. So when that happened, me and Drew were telling the referee, yo, this guy clapped, review it. But you cannot review for a penalty. You can review for like ball location and such like that. So they were just like, all right, we'll look for it in the future, which is obviously not what you want to hear right away, especially on like your first start and stuff like that. Because now I just look like a goofball. I just snapped it. I look like I'm nervous or something like that. I was not nervous.
But what happened?
But I heard the safety clap twice, and that was our cadence.
What happened is the ball don't lie.
Yeah, and we got the ball back.
The next play.
Yes.
Yeah, ball doesn't lie.
Absolutely.
Right, ball don't lie.
That's all that is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you responded at a high level. You played well all game long in your first start. So I guess my question is, what did it take to mentally bounce back to that next play? I know Coach Franklin talks about a 6-second mentality, and sometimes that's easier said than done. So what do you attribute that to?
I mean, one, I knew it wasn't my fault. But
so that's fair enough.
That's a little, even if it was, I convinced myself at that point that it wasn't. So we were on to that.
It wasn't your fault.
Who knows what happened, right? But the reality is, like, why would I let something as small as that affect what we have going on for a whole game? I mean, it's a long game. This isn't boxing. You don't just knock somebody out and then it's over. You have 4 quarters to play of football. So I was like, all right, well, we'll just take this rage and aggression that maybe I'm feeling, and I'm just going to take it out on the man in front of me, put him in the ground where he's supposed to be at. So just taking every play one snap at a time, and how can I attack the man in front of me and make sure he doesn't want to line up against me again?
That was a really good answer, and it was really well delivered, by the way. That was impressive. Nick Dawkins, great center.
He's trying to kiss you up a little bit with the orange juice.
No, man.
Yeah, just know.
That orange juice was good.
To be dealt with. Oh, it was good, too.
I don't apologize.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I got to know. I mean, we're in 2 different offensive coordinators right now. You're probably on your 3rd one in your 5th year here.
Yes,
maybe
sir.
your 4th.
My 3rd.
What has Kotelnicki brought to this team? Like day one to what was he like on Saturday? I mean, everybody changes. I mean, you can be the greatest coach in the world, but if you can't handle the pressure on Saturday, beat it.
Yeah, I would say confidence is the biggest thing. You can see it in how he walks, how he talks, and even how he dresses. The man can dress. I'll tell you that. The guy.
I haven't seen sleeves on the guy one time in practice.
The guy can put it on. I'm telling you, he's Mr. Put It On. The guy can dress pretty well, and he does. He's so confident.
Practice or like going on.
Like just okay, like like there's practice wear, but we have meetings,
like sneakers and stuff like that.
But like even like when we have like meetings and stuff like that, my man has like a 2-piece suit on. Man, he got some essentials on. He's with the times. He's hip. He's hip.
I see him at practice. He's got sleeveless shirts on. It looks like he's ready to drive an 18-wheeler down the road.
Practice is only for a couple hours, man. That's only part of the day. Like you got to shower and put another fit on. You know what I mean? I know that people on the radio can't hear, but I mean, I know you're sitting here in your birthday suit, but he wears like 2-piece suits and stuff like that.
We're all on YouTube, so we are. I am just really white. I apologize. I haven't been in the sun in a while. My birthday suit is on.
But to answer your question, confidence, and I think that goes with how confident he is in us and how he plays to like our strengths. And if a guy's making plays, get the ball in his hand. And I think that's something we kind of neglected before. And I would say how he teaches. I mean, everybody knows why we do things. Now, you can block inside zone and know you have to block this guy, but why are you doing it? What's the intent of the play? What's the running back landmark? Where are we trying to hit? What's the read? What's the RPO? And I think that we know these things. It's easier to like block and get your hat on the right side of the ball so we can hit explosives.
You know as well as I do, 100% of offensive line play is confidence.
Yes.
Right? You know you can if you know you can make that play and you go out there and you start blocking, and your confidence builds. And the game gets so much easier when that happens. And I think that, I know the one I played. I mean, this is obviously you're minus 20.
Yeah, yeah.
But we had a swagger. It's about an offensive swagger. And
yes.
I see Kotal Nick come in here, and he is so good at what he has done at Kansas. And then he had played against West Virginia. He knew everything they were going to throw at him. So he's done the Big Ten. The Big 12. So we went through that. But I'm interested to see how he is going to. I guess I don't want to ask, but it was a very vanilla game.
Okay.
I don't think you guys really put a lot out there offensively, that you just played a very vanilla offense and just pounded it and did the little things so well.
Yeah.
And then you had all those big plays.
Yeah.
But the running game opens up so much. I mean, you want to talk about that. I mean,
yeah.
You get those linebackers take one step because you got Allen coming at you. You got one step and all of a sudden you got a tight end down the middle of the field, as we saw late in that game.
Yes, sir.
It's fun. The game it gets real easy when you got great players around you and they're well coached and everybody's confident in what they're doing.
Man, they had to defend that option too. And I think people saw we went to a 2-quarterback set early in the game. And often too. We went to it a couple times. And now you have to play off of Bo Prabula, who if you add him running, that's basically 11-11 football because you're the running back blocking for him.
Yeah.
And that's usually an unaccounted for man as a quarterback when he's carrying out a fake or something like that. And we run the option game. It's so tough that we run an outside zone with an option. That's just another like tassel that the defense has to prepare for. That typically you don't have to prepare for whatever offenses.
Just a little bit of it.
Just a little bit.
Just to make them worried and say, okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at Bowling Green, Kent State, Illinois. They're already going back and looking at Kansas tape right now, trying to figure out what he has done in the past. And again, looking forward to it. Just going to be a great season right now. You sold me, man. You played a great game the other day. I got to give you that, bro.
Thank you.
You waited your time for it too.
Yes, sir.
That's what I really appreciate is how it is so easy for a guy like you, who was a 4-star type of guy, who is a starter. You should have been starting. They should have, but the guy in front of you was pretty damn good. But you know what? You didn't run away and go hit the transfer portal. I'm leaving. I'm going to take my ball. I'm going to go home. You stayed through here, and it paid off for you. It's going to be a heck of a season for you.
Thank you.
And on that note, I want to ask you, Doc. So you're a guy, like he said, that waited his turn. And I'm sure there were highs of that and there were lows of that. And there were times where maybe you didn't want to stick around and fight through it, but you ultimately did. In hindsight, what do you think was the biggest benefit of taking that time, learning, going through the adversity to where you are today?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just understanding why I do the things I do and my commitment. I think the biggest piece of it, like you said, there's highs and lows to it. But I gave my mom and I gave Coach Franklin my word that I would be here for 4 to 5 years, that I would earn a degree from here. I earned a master's degree from Penn State. I think when you're around this facility, when you're around this area, around this city, around these people, around these fans, and you see how much they delve into it, how much passion there is for this program, how much passion there is for this university, you can't walk away from something like that, especially when I myself have invested so much time. I'll say even before the season, I sat down at my dad's grave and told him that I would play here. I would be a guy here. I would help just invest so much into this program as it's done for me. And I've changed so much as a man, just being around my teammates, being around these people. And it would be a dang shame for me to walk away from something that so much time has been put into when it's right there. There's a quote I see. They muddy the water so you think it's deeper, but it's always right there. And I told myself I would play here. I knew I was going to play here. And I put so much action and intentionality and spoke into existence, and I knew it was going to happen. So why would I walk away from something that I knew was going to happen?
Doc, you get me fired up every time, brother. I'm ready. Listen,
I'm ready to go, man.
I'm with you. My God, Nick Dawkins, man. I'm not surprised at all to see the success. I want to get back to the offense. All offseason, we hear explosiveness, that. But what does it actually take for an offense to be explosive? What is the commitment up front that has to happen for that offense to become more explosive? We saw it against West Virginia. It was noticeable. There was a difference, and everybody's excited about it. What did it take to get from point A to point B?
First thing is knowing what you're doing. In order to play fast, you must know exactly what you're doing. The second is the mentality that you want to punch somebody in the mouth every play. And I think third is just causing stress. I think for a long time, a lot of offenses, they think that they have to react to the defense. I think our mentality is the defense has to react to what we're doing.
Yep.
I mean, think about even the conversation we're having now. Before last year, you weren't talking about what we were dialing up and all this and third, all the window dressing and stuff that we have on. Defenses have to prepare for that, like the option, the 2 quarterback sets, all that stuff. That's just stuff that they have to practice, things that they have to think about and game plan for. And it just takes time out of their day to prepare for what's actually at hand. And we have to play football. You have to be a man and line it up. What kind of man are you? You know what I mean?
I got to give it to your physicality this past week. That's up front. There was a physical team I had not seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were bullies out there. I was crying.
Yeah, he called me choked up, tearing up, man.
I was like, dude, this is amazing. I'm literally watching these guys come off the ball with a purpose and moving people.
Mm-hmm.
And you're moving them very, very well.
Thank you.
Well, all 5 of you, including Tyler Warren, who will be our guest next week, but he played a great game. I think he's so underappreciated. What Tang want to call you? Psycho T?
Yeah, Psycho T is what we call him.
That's a pretty good guy to have on your side. I think.
You want Psycho T on your team.
That's not a bad guy.
You want that guy on your team.
Yeah,
Side note here, Psycho T's dad. You go meet him. You talk to him for 3 minutes.
Terry Warren. Yeah, he's a young leopard, man. He'd tear you up, man.
Yeah, there's no doubt how Tyler Warren became the way he did. Shout out Mr. Warren. That's my guy.
At Lee, Virginia. I used to live down there. That's how I got to know Tyler's dad.
Really?
Yeah, I lived in Richmond before I moved up here in 2005. I was like, well, it was 20 years ago, but how you doing, man? How are you?
Nick,
he's a heck of a player, man.
Yeah, heck of a player. The last question I want to ask you here before the break, I've had the opportunity to get to know your mother, and I understand the impact that she's had on your life. But, I mean, she's highly talented, highly motivated. She has sacrificed a lot to help you get to this point you are now. Just give us a little bit of insight into your guys' relationship and how much she has meant to you in getting here and how much she still means to you today.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I think the first thing I think of is sacrifice. I think for everybody, you think about your mom and how much they've sacrificed for you to be here. And it's one thing to hear about it. It's one thing to see it. I mean, I just remember being in high school and coming back from like a high school practice, sitting around not doing anything, feeling tired. And I see my mom just came in after her 3rd job of the day. She's got done her 3rd shift and she's walking in like ain't nothing happened. And if that ain't toughness, I don't know what is. So when the way that she went about her business and didn't complain about it, and the sacrifice she made for me just to be here at Penn State, I owe everything in the world to her. Everything I do is to make sure that she never has to work again, that she never has to do anything again, that she can do whatever she wants to do. And I know she wants to have like a food truck. She wants to have whatever she wants. If she thinks about it, I want to make sure that can happen at any given moment. That's the same thing for my mom and my sisters. They've sacrificed so much. Drives to college campuses, to practices, to finding rides, to picking up my teammates when they need to get there in high school. Didn't have much. She's just the epitome of selfless. And that's what I aspire to be every single day, because she's done so much for so many other people and for me, and I'm in debt to her for my entire life. So all I can do is try to be the best man that she raised me to be for other people, for her, and to make sure that she never, ever, ever has to work again.
I love it.
You got me crying again, dude.
This guy's good, man.
Beautiful, man.
We'll be right back with more Nick Dawkins. We've got plenty more to talk about. Stay tuned here on the Blue White Player Show.
WFXS. Once again.
Your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Rings and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk and Associates Sotheby's International Realty is a proud sponsor of the Blue and White Players Show. Lusk and Associates Sotheby's International Realty is South Central Pennsylvania's premier real estate agency, and they're inviting you to join in celebrating the official opening of their new State College office location, September 16th at the Nittany Lion Inn. That's Monday, September 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Nittany Lion Inn. Visit annlusk.com to learn more.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
You're tuned in to the Blue and White Players Show with Keith Goon Conlon, Aeneas Hawkins, and Landon Tengwall. Broadcasting live from the 19th hole at the Penn State Golf Courses every Monday at 6 p.m. all season long. Special thanks to this season's sponsors of the Players Show: Lusk and Associates, Sotheby's International Realty, Turner Construction, Austin and Pam Schanfelter, Chris and Lisa Heydrich, Marco Rivera, and Sherry Lane. Now back to more of the Blue and White Players Show.
Welcome back into the Blue White Players Show. We are here still with Nick Dawkins, and we talked a lot of football, and we'll get back to doing some of that too. But you're having a tremendous impact off of the field as well. It's apparent when we hear you talk that you're motivated in other ways than just football. You talk about family, you talk about a master's degree. I want to talk about the Dawkins Family Foundation and what you've been able to do in the offseason. I just saw that you did a backpack giveaway. So get into some of the details. Goon, go ahead.
He already graduated.
Already,
He's
yeah, already done it once.
Yeah, I'm on my
He's on
now.
the Masters, just to clarify.
Yes.
Get into a little bit of what you're doing off the field and why it's so important to you, Nick.
Yeah, I heard a quote. It's like, in order to get rich, you must enrich. And I think that's so important. I've been given so much in my life. So many people have helped me out to get to where I'm at now. So I think it's, given the platform that I have and like just the resources and such now, it would be a shame if I didn't do something with it. So we started the Dawkins Family Foundation. I think it was important too. My family always has been doing stuff like that. So more organized. And I mean, my mom is pretty organized and my sister, they all want to do stuff like that. So got them together. We formed it about 2 years ago, and we've been doing a lot of community initiative things. So we do our backpack drive at the end of August. We've done that's our second annual one. We're giving away turkeys for Thanksgiving. We work with the Ronald McDonald House in Orlando, Florida to feed the homeless. We pick 3 families from Eastern Area Community Center, and we give Christmas gifts to the family then. And we're looking for more opportunities. So if anyone has any other opportunities or places that need help or to be served, we'd love to help them out. And then we do some stuff. We're doing a football rally in State College to donate money for breast cancer awareness to the YMCA State College. So anything to help people out.
Contact info.
Yep. DawkinsFamilyFoundation.org. You can just hit the contact us and email, and we'll get back to you within 2 to 3 business days. Yep, DawkinsFamilyFoundation.org. DawkinsFamilyFoundation.org.
I want to ask you, I think there's so much written and talked about in NIL specifically where people, it's kind of shaped as a selfish ambition, kind of gimme. And clearly you've taken a different route where your focus is actually on what you can do for others. What do you attribute that ability to? What does it come from? Why are you the way that you are in an era where it's unpopular to do the selfless thing and you do it over and over again?
I don't know. I think a lot of guys want to. They just don't know how to. I think with a lot of times they don't know how to do it, and so a lot of time when people don't know how to do things, they just stop and just go back to what they're used to. And for me, I've just been around people. My family has always been wanting to give back, so it was easier for me to set that up, to get that done. And when I think of NIL, I think the concept of it is so jacked up because you hear NIL and you think of just money. Yep. But it's name, image, and likeness. And what else is your name, image, and likeness in? Your reputation and your personality and how you treat people and such like that. So I've been doing NIL long before it was a thing in terms of like how I've been able to grow my reputation for my family because growing up, obviously my dad played in the NBA for a long time. He had a great reputation. And I was always taught that my reputation, how I acted was completely enacted on how he was perceived as well. So I wanted to make sure I had so much respect for my dad and what he's done. Why would I do anything to jack up how he taught me and how he raised me and such? So for my whole life, I just feel like I've been part of something a little bigger than myself when it came to reputation and such.
So I had a present for you, but it didn't make it.
Okay.
I had your father's jersey, the 53.
Oh, man.
That was my number here. That's your number here. I was going to pull it off here, but they couldn't find a 7X.
Oh, man. Yeah.
They had it 7X. They didn't have a 7X tall.
I don't know how they don't have
you know
that.
What I mean? I was a little upset because I was just going to pull it off here and wear like the NBA basketball X pants, the ones that sit down.
Yeah.
Well,
you'll have to make sure to do that still. Yeah, I'm fired up for that.
Yeah, still do that. I don't know how they didn't have a 7X. That's a common size.
Everybody wears
7X now. Everyone has a 7X.
Is missing out on a lot of people.
I don't understand. Subset of Americans.
Well, I mean, I told you this story 3 years ago, but first basketball game I went to when I was like a little kid, and I'm watching your dad on the court, and that was my freaking hero, dude. I could not believe the size of him doing what he was doing and how physical the game was. And I was like, and I always loved the number 53. I have my older brothers wore it in high school. I wore it here. Now you wear it.
Yes, sir.
But he was my guy because he wore it. So I loved your pops, man. I love talking about it. I loved watching him play, and you definitely got his gregariousness. It's awesome, dude.
I appreciate
fun talking to you. You are an excellent, fun interview. I mean, I'm not ready to go have a drink and have dinner on the side over here. You could take the show over, bro.
No, never.
No doubt. Well, Doc, I'll ask you this too. You know, I had
your mother, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
Thank you.
Shout out, Miss James.
Your mother deserves a lot of credit for how you were raised.
Thank you so much.
I want to ask. I'm going to get into it a little bit more, Doc. I had a father who played professional sports as well, and I look up to him a lot as well. I want you to kind of tell the viewers how much it means to you. Again, you talk about legacy and upholding what he had already started, and something that you benefit now. Go ahead.
Well, let's talk about Aeneas showboating in 7th grade.
In 7th
grade,
when
you got in the car, what does your pops do to you?
Oh, yeah, when I celebrated, yeah. I got a quick jab. I got jabbed. The football game was the last hit I took that day. And that was the last time I celebrated after making a play. That was it. He told me to act like I had been there before, and I'm still at 24 years old remembering that lesson. So, Artro Hawkins, thank you so much for teaching me humility. That's not important, though. What we're here to talk about is how important your father's legacy is, the Dawkins family legacy is. How important is that to you? And how much does it actually motivate you on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, everything I do, to be honest. I think the greatest gift you can be handed down as a person is your last name. And it is up to me to make sure that the value of it is worth much more than it was given to me for my next generation of my family. And that motivates me every single day. I think about if I ever were to do anything, what do they always say? They always say current Penn State player, former Parkland player, son of Daryl Dawkins, before we even get into the headline of what I did. So that tells you already exactly what I exemplify and what I am correlated with before I even do something. So it's important to me. Everything I do, I make sure that all my actions are aligned with representing this program, representing my family, representing myself before anything else. And I think when you talk about your dad too, the expectations for you were so much more because your dad actually played the sport that you played.
Yeah.
I can compare to my dad, and he played basketball. I played football. We both played center, but he was 7 foot. I'm 6'4".
I still got your dad in a fight, though. I ain't gonna.
Me too. Me too. I don't count.
It's true. It's so true.
Absolutely.
I don't care how old you are. Daddy still beat your butt.
You ain't joking.
It's unbelievable.
No doubt. Let's get into a different topic, and this is a topic that must be discussed. You're having a bit of a hair journey right now. I want to know where the origins of the hair journey began. I want to know what can we expect as Penn State football fans in the future.
Okay. Is meaning to it?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know personally.
Why are you not auctioning off your colors then? What color should I be? Can you raise money for the foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was one of the thoughts. So how it happened. So before camp, you know how camp, you kind of get into that mode where you kind of just lose your mind a little bit.
Yep.
And
wear the same clothes for 12 straight days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, our camp shirts and such. So the offensive line, we're like, you know what we're going to do?
My wife and all her friends were like, did you wear the same clothes for 12 days?
Yeah, wear the same exact clothes for 12 days straight. Camp shirts. That's how we
camp
get
shirt,
down.
camp pants.
So we, as the offensive line, decided we were all going to shave off our facial hair. So we shaved off our 6 p.m. shadow and whatever you call this on my face. Yep, gone. And then myself, Tyler Elson, and Dom DeLuca decided, and a couple of freshmen off his line decided, you know what, let's buzz our hair too. So I buzzed my hair, and I'm like, you know what, maybe we should just dye it. So we dyed it blonde, and then Elson and his girlfriend, they painted a helmet stripe on his head. So he had a permanent Penn State helmet stripe. So even if he took off his helmet, that stripe was always going to be there. He earned that. And he earned that stripe. And my girlfriend and I decided that we were going to do leopard print on my hair, cheetah print on my hair. And I got called Dennis Rodman maybe 100 million times by everybody. And then from there we went to blonde, then we went to blue. And now I think we're gonna go pink or something. I don't know. I think what I'm gonna do
is bald in about a year with all these different like concoctions you got going on.
I don't know. I think I'm just built different. I don't think I have to worry about that.
Yeah,
Right? We'll go to Turkey and get a hair transplant and just start over again. You know what I mean? We're gonna do
an
NIL
NIL
deal.
You better get a 4-year contract in the NFL before you go to Turkey.
Before you go to Turkey. But I great idea. So what I was thinking was some of the kids in our mentorship program, I was thinking about having them maybe design some things I can put in my hair. Like some designs to put in there, and then I think for October I'm gonna go just keep it pink for breast cancer awareness.
That's awesome.
And then for the whiteout game, I think I'm gonna dye everything white.
You said for the whiteout game you're gonna dye white.
I'm gonna dye my hair like pure white and my facial hair white and everything for
the facial
whiteout
hair too is another step. That's a whole different realm we're talking about.
For the whiteout
game,
game,
a black stripe on the pink.
We can
do
original Penn State colors. We absolutely can do that. We can do whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. To me, it's just hair. It will grow back. And if it doesn't grow back, then we'll get something to make it grow back.
So I got to tell you, I am the old school part of the old school, new school, same school thing.
Mm-hmm.
So my first day of freshman class at Penn State, not class, but camp, this is when it was not cool for brothers to be bald.
Okay.
Jordan still had hair when I was here.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, Johnny comes in and he got the Sean Kemp slope.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There's like 3 brothers on my team who hair never grew back. They shaved us all.
That was it.
So that was like their hazing thing. They butchered us all down. I look like Gomer Pyle from Full Metal Jacket. I was like, and we all have our student IDs, and we're all sitting there. We're all bald as heck. Joe was furious, and I was just like, I took a bald. I said, give me a mohawk like this. You know what? I did it once, and I had it for a day. Then I was like, all right, get rid of it. But that was the brothers were very, very upset back in the day. I mean, when they shaved us down.
And it didn't come back.
I want to ask you, Goon, you bring up the old school thing, and there's so much of a narrative now around the new school Penn State football player. But after talking to Nick Dawkins, he would fit in with that 94 team, wouldn't he?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, Nick Dawkins would be loved. Any era. You're generational, Nick. We know that about you.
I love to hear that. Thank you so much.
What I love, no one has to say a damn thing before a game. There's no like rah-rah. There's no jumping around. Just business.
Just business.
Just walk in there with your hard hat and a lunch pail.
That's all you gotta do.
Just gotta walk in there and be like, "Hey, let's go."
I
don't need all that.
We always say before every game, man. If your mom is still working, you don't need a motivational speech. Go do what you're supposed to do.
I like
every
that.
single time.
I like that. Mom's still working. Job's not.
My mom
finished.
just had to look at me. She didn't have to be working. You knew, man. Okay, I'm sorry.
Doc, you had a 17-hour halftime this week.
I want to talk.
I need some insight into what it's like to sit around for 2.5 hours, then to have to put your shoulder pads back on and go back to work. After a long hiatus, what did you do to pass the time?
Yeah.
Can you give us a little bit of insight to that experience, please?
Yeah. So the first thing they did, Chuck Losey, our strength coach, came out and he told us that every time there's a lightning strike in the area, they would add 30 minutes onto the clock for the delay.
Correct.
So he told us that. Said, all right, so we had 30 minutes, and he came back in 5 minutes later.
7 miles.
Yes.
Around the stadium. That's the There's a lightning strike within 7 miles of the stadium. Another half hour.
Yes. So he said that, and then 2 minutes later, he's like, all right, there's another 30 minutes, then another 30 minutes. And so they brought out the iPads, and we essentially watched the entire first half of the game. And the coaches graded it out already. So they graded the first half of the game. So I already knew what my grade was looking like before the game. I'm like, I got to maybe play a little better, better grade by the end of the game. And then after we got done, we still had like an hour. So we're just hanging out. So they opened it, like in the tunnel, they started putting chairs out there so you get some fresh air. Because the away locker rooms, I don't know if people know, the away locker rooms are horrible. Yeah, they're horrible. They're condensed.
Including hours.
Yeah, ours is bad too.
Hours.
That's it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be comfortable You don't want to give anyone an advantage and such like that. But it was condensed. It was hot in there, so we started sitting in the tunnels, and I was sitting there with Anthony Donko. We were talking to Pat Kraft and Drew Shell. We were talking. We're like, hey, if we put 45 on him, you think we could stop on the way back at Dairy Queen and get blizzards for everybody? But he agreed. He said he would do it if we got the 45.
He just got a $2 million.
Yeah, so he's got blizzard money. So
he's got blizzard money.
He's got blizzard money.
Everybody load blizzard money.
So we were just passing the time talking with everybody, and it was awesome.
Classic offensive lineman, and you know Pat gravitates towards that. Pat played linebacker, but
he's a guy. He's a dude.
He's
a dude. He's a
no
dude. He's a
doubt
football
about it.
guy.
He wants to sit over there with the offensive line. He wants to go talk to the linebackers, grunt and stuff like that. You guys just sit there and want to play cornhole.
Yeah,
eat some cheeseburgers and hot dogs, and you're like,
we were eating chicken sandwich. They had Panera chicken sandwiches, like and stuff.
Okay,
like that.
I think that you weren't here. You were over there with your girl. We were talking about how Michigan State, how he probably learned his lesson at Michigan State, and you don't know that. Yeah, I tell them on my radio show, and I always talk like they're not asking if Penn State wants. Hey, we're going to go down to Burger King right now. You guys want some Whoppers or some Chick-fil-A? I mean, it's true. I mean,
they were well prepared. We had tons of snacks, tons of water, and everything and like that. And I think you could even see from our wheat that we brought, and you could even see when we came out in the second half, 5 of their players cramped. None of our guys did. I think that was hydration preparation and food and everything. That's Chuck. Yeah, Chuck Losey, Andy Button, and so they were ready.
Can we give Leanne Loudon some love too for the snacks?
Yeah, shout out to Leanne too. She definitely was well versed and prepared for that. So
I miss Leanne Loudon every day. Yeah. Does she still do the shakes post lift?
Yes, she does. She does do those. What were you? Were you a gainer or a leaner, or you were a tweener? I think you were a tweener guy.
I was gained for like 11 months, and then they were like, "You got to start drinking lean shakes. This is getting ridiculous. Your body fat percentage is way too high to be a competitive football player." So we went to the lean chocolate peanut butter protein. Shout out Leanne Loudon. I miss him every day, and I need that recipe.
Yeah, we got done our workouts in '94, and it was like, "Here's a glass of water for you."
Yeah, get out of here.
You're too fat. Here's some water, or you're too skinny. Put some weight on.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, Nick, it was an honor and a privilege to have you on the show. We wish you the best of luck going forward.
We'll have you again, please.
We will have you back here soon. Nick Dawkins, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. We'll be back on the Blue White Players Show.
WFXS, once again.
Your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7, The Fox. State College.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
If you love rings and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get too quick to steak and lose.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get too quick to steak and lose.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
2 of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk and Associates Sotheby's International Realty is a proud sponsor of the Blue and White Players Show. Lusk and Associates Sotheby's International Realty is South Central Pennsylvania's premier real estate agency, and they're inviting you to join in celebrating the official opening of their new State College office location, September 16th at the Nittany Lion Inn. That's Monday, September 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Nittany Lion Inn. Visit annlusk.com to learn more.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
You're tuned in to the Blue and White Players Show with Keith Goon Conlon, Aeneas Hawkins, and Landon Tengwall. Broadcasting live from the 19th hole at the Penn State Golf Courses every Monday at 6 p.m. all season long. Special thanks to this season's sponsors of the Players Show: Lusk and Associates, Sotheby's International Realty, Turner Construction, Austin and Pam Schanfelter, Chris and Lisa Heydrich, Marco Rivera, and Sherry Lane. Now back to more of the Blue and White Players Show.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the Blue White Players Show with me and my man Aeneas. Great show, dude.
Hey, great to be back here again.
Love talking to Doc. You could do it all week, every week. It would be the greatest thing ever. So we're going on our Letterman segment again. We got it sponsored by Atlas Therapy, again, owned and run by former Letterman Justin Kirpakis. So he's sponsoring us again this year, and Justin's a great guy. Love for him and thank him very much for checking us out and helping us out with the sponsorship this year. So enjoy it. It's our weekly segment called the Letterman segment. Take care.
I graduated December of 2000 from Penn State, and I was a defensive end. I own multiple businesses and moved back to Pittsburgh from State College. Had lived in State College since 2007 when I was kind of at the tail end of my NFL career, and born and raised in Pittsburgh, though, and moved the family back here June 30th. One of the businesses I own is Atlas Therapy, outpatient physical therapy clinics in Central PA, including State College. We're very proud of what we've created there. We've been around for 14 years, and it's not even close. We're the top place in the area, and so we hope no one has injuries or things that they need rehab. But if you do, come see us at Atlas Therapy, and you'll see it's a special place, and we've got a special team there as well. Penn State's the only place I ever wanted to go. My first memory as a human being was being on my dad's shoulders at a Penn State game. I had to have been 2 or 3 years old. And ever since that, there was a magical kind of connection where it's the only place I ever wanted to go. When I'd come up to camps, any chance we were up there, it's just where I always wanted to be. So I'd let Penn State and Coach Bradley know pretty early that that's the only place I ever wanted to go. I think by the time that they offered me after the 6th game of my senior year, I'd had 35 or so other offers from Power 5 and Division I schools. And Penn State was the only place where we beat McKeesport on a Friday night in overtime. And that Saturday, I got a call from Con Bradley saying that they had a scholarship for me, and it was a pretty easy decision for me. I think the toughest thing was probably early on, got switched from middle linebacker or inside linebacker to defensive end. My dream was always to be an inside linebacker at Penn State, and then not playing as much as you think you should or you want to early on. It was actually walking out of the tunnel or running out of the tunnel as a redshirted guy my freshman year in a Penn State uniform. So, and seeing my parents in the stands, and it was affirmation that kind of this lifelong dream had become a reality. So that's always easy for me. And it's always hard for me to talk about. You know, it's 30 some years ago, but we move on in life from the Penn State thing into bigger and better things, but it's still important, and it still was an important part of my life. Yeah, I oftentimes don't go there. There were so many great ones that that it'd be a shame to leave any of them out, and I could go on and on. I was fortunate to play with some phenomenal players that I have the utmost respect for. What I will say this, the toughest guy I played in high school against was Brandon Short, who became my teammate at Penn State. Tough question. I'll try to answer with two different answers, but quickly. So my redshirt freshman year, I was like a 235 pound D end in the Big Ten, and we played against Michigan State, and Flozell, the Hotel Adams, was their left tackle. And he was a monster. He had to outweigh me by 100 pounds, very skilled guy, had a great pro career. And I remember the first time I came on a pass rush with him and he hit me with the pass protection, a double punch. I was like one of those cartoons where I was like, and I said, boy, this guy's a whole nother level. So whether it was my age or just that guy's ability, that was the first. The second one I'd say is a combination between Drew Brees and his offensive line. I always didn't like playing them because their offensive line was so athletic and his release was so quick, and the way that they would do it kind of timing wise, you could never get to Brees. It felt like they were very frustrating to play. So that's probably my two answers for that. I'm a traditionalist. I mean, everyone that knows me, I love the history of the game and the tradition and everything. So places like the Big House were enjoyable. Everyone probably talks about Wisconsin, and when jump around the whole stadium is shaking. But I got to tell you, as a Pittsburgh kid from Central Catholic that went to high school in the shadow of the Cathedral of Learning, we played at Pitt Stadium. Before it was torn down and turned into the Peterson Event Center. That was a special game for me. I went there, walked up Cardiac Hill as a kid with my dad and brother to watch Pitt games. And so then to play in that stadium was pretty cool, but playing for the team that I always wanted to be on. I have and always have had a devout respect for Joe. I mean, it's the only guy I ever wanted to play for in college. And he'd call me Kerpeak, so he would shorten my name. And as teammates will tell you, I was a little bit rambunctious as a youngster and kind of to the echo of the whistle. And I'll never forget my first spring. I maybe jumped on a pile late or something, and he said, "Kerpeak, you got no poise. You'll never play here." And that changed me.